We're live. I don't know how I opened this the last time. I got really weird. I was like ready for it, and then I wasn't ready for it, and now we're here. So hey, I'm
Sounds good to
cool.
me.
We got my buddy 22. How are you doing today,
I'm well. How are you?
dude? I'm doing.
Dandy.
Yeah,
Dandy.
it's been a weird day today. So
I agree. Wholeheartedly. Comments by the bay said he's tired.
well, yeah. I texted him earlier today that I needed to take a nap, and then I didn't take a nap. So hey, how's it going, Las Cruces? And welcome from New Mexico. We got Comics by the Bay. He's tired. I was at one point tired. I'm less tired now. I kind of just laid on the couch and watched some basketball.
Yes.
It was Michigan State versus Rutgers, and Michigan State looked pretty good for once, which is starting to be nice. They're maybe coming together. One of their random bench players had like the best game of his career.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Got some he had a double-double at one point, and then it's just funny, he just gets a random block, and you're like, here's a guy. His name is Jackson with an X.
Of course it is.
Last name Kohler. So kind of like my first name, but
Yeah, see, I don't get down with NCAA basketball as much. It's just
yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like most people are almost the exact opposite of that,
exactly.
where
So,
all they want to do is that. But hey, for each their own.
right.
But this isn't really about basketball. And who are these beautiful gentlemen? Well, it's us. How you doing, Durs? And yeah, cheers. I've got a small amount of beer in a cup.
I've got what's left of my proper 12. So now I have to go get some more.
To Connor.
Oh, yes.
I watched a lot of random YouTube videos about proper number 12 and if it's good or not.
It's
Most people say it's better than Jameson.
It's right there with Jameson. It's right there with I prefer it more than Jameson, but like if I'm somewhere else and they don't have 12, then I'll get Jameson.
Well, it's good to know. And hey, looks like we got Matt back. He's got some multiple beers. Cheers in. So it's 2023.
That's sad.
It is. That last year went quick. It went fast. And hey, today, I think maybe yesterday, at some point in the last 2 days, you recently got 500 subscribers. So congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I did. It was yesterday. It was awesome.
Yeah, I've got the link down below to the giveaway if you want to go into that. And I have a video on my channel currently where I'm going to give away slab for that. So make sure you get that. Make sure you go there and vote on which one you have. Right now, there's a Something is Killing the Children slab that is winning pretty handily. The one that you said you would have probably picked is in dead last place. And only your iron brother, Dale of Suspense, has voted for it. So it is, yeah.
Hey, and that's why I was like, hey, let him pick. Let him pick.
Because I think 6 people have voted for Something is Killing the Children. 4 have voted for the Catwoman, which is like a Lone Wolf and Cub. I don't know why I want to keep calling it Lion and Cub. Homage. And then there's Gamora number 1. So what's going on? Random Rick reviews or the Triple R? Cheers. But yeah. So 2023. It has been a weird start of the year for me. It's always the busiest time for work in like the first 2 months, which is always an awful way to start the year. But hey, it only gets better after that, which is nice.
Yeah, my work's about the same. Where like everybody kind of, dicks off towards the end of the year, so like nobody's calling for help at that point in time, so I can just kind of throw it in cruise control and I'm good to go. And then shit hits the fan with printers and everything else the first of the year, and you're like, okay, cool, appreciate y'all.
Yeah, what are these printers? Dude, I've had to like randomly troubleshoot the weirdest stuff lately. Like our coffee machine just didn't work. To be fair, so it was really weird. So COVID happened. Everyone goes home. After once we start getting back to the office, we have we had a Keurig now.
Okay.
Oh, why do we have this Keurig? I asked somebody, and they're like,
Bougie.
"Oh, I think it's like because of COVID, they didn't want everyone sharing the same coffee." So I was like, "Oh, Okay. So then I said that. That person like laughed. It's been like 2 years, and I was like, "Now that like it's been a few years, can we put that coffee pot back to use?" They're like, "We never could have not used it." I was like, "Somebody told me because of COVID we got the Keurig," and they're like, "No, that's not it at all." And I was like, "Oh, so I just haven't been using that other coffee pot because I just thought we couldn't?" And they're like, yeah. So we end up getting it. It hadn't been used for 2 years, is the moral of the story, and it just didn't work. It didn't pull the water out. I don't know. But I called the guy 10 minutes later. He is in our building fixing the coffee pot. I was like, "What the heck?" He's like, "Yeah, I just happened to
Nice.
be driving, like, I was, like, 4 minutes from you, and I was heading to the other side of the state, so I just was like, I guess I'll just come here right now." I was like, "That is sweet."
Good timing. Good
Yeah.
timing.
And we got Shops for Comics. Hey, welcome, Shop. Cheers. Yeah. Yeah, and
I
then
agree. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know, it was weird, and then I fixed a printer. I had to call the printer people to fix a printer. Apparently, a piece of paper ripped inside one of the spools. Wow. I don't even know how that happened, but it's weird. It's so weird because it wouldn't print because the main feed, it's like a huge printer. It's got 3 feeds, 4 feeds of paper.
Okay.
But because the spool in the bottom one was broken, it wouldn't pull from any of the other ones unless you physically open the drawer.
Okay.
I don't get it.
That yeah. I
Hey,
don't know.
look who's here. We talked about him earlier. You're
Yes,
the
we
only person
did.
that has voted for the Gamora cover, is what I was saying earlier.
Dale's on his way to 500 as well. So
Yeah. So, what'd you do on your Thursday night?
look at the next
Oh,
me.
listen to Cole talk about paper stuck in a spool. That's loosely what you get here. Sorry, this is a weird one. There, like, I definitely had a bunch of ideas of things that we were going to talk about, and then it started, and I don't know. I had a brain fart. Things got weird, but hey, we're here.
We said
So
F it.
yeah. So I think I know the answer to this question already because you kind of went over it, but you sort of split it up on your podcast. So, what was your favorite movie of 2023 in the comic book world?
In the comic book world.
Yeah, like comic book ish or comic book
Oh, Doctor
adjacent.
Strange.
Doctor Strange, interesting. That's what I thought you said, but I also
Yeah.
kind of remembered or maybe misremembered.
Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. That was the highlight of my comic book viewing of last year as far as movies go. As far as like as a whole, I would say Top Gun Maverick is probably the best outside of comic book movie of the year for me. So
Interesting. I have not seen that yet, but to be fair, I've never seen Top Gun.
I had never seen Top Gun either. My wife wanted to see Maverick, and of course, I'm like, yes, whatever you like. That yes, we'll go watch it. And so she's like, you're ridiculous that you've never seen this. And I'm like, it's an '80s movie, and I don't like '80s stuff, but whatever. So we watched Top Gun, and I'm like, honey, this is horrible. I don't know why anybody likes this. Then we go and see Maverick, and I said, honey, this movie is great. I said, it's Star Wars, but it's great. And she's like, what do you mean it's Star Wars? And I'm like, honey, the plot is exactly Star Wars. That's that. I'm sorry, it is. So not going to spoil it since you haven't seen it, but it's Star
Well,
Wars.
well, you loosely told me that Tom Cruise kisses his sister in this movie, so
Sure, yeah, something like that.
what's going on, Kenneth Bird? How's it going? I would probably say for me, my favorite comic book movie was probably the Batman, but I'm also a Batman fan.
That is a good close second. I
And
didn't, yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. Doctor Strange was good, but there was one thing for me personally that kind of like set me off with that movie a little bit, and it was this is like the most petty answer for disliking something ever. There was like every fight scene, it looked like they had to use a selfie stick at some point in it because there was like 3 things where it's just like, where it like seemed like they were using a selfie stick to like record the thing, and I was just like, why is this happening?
So totally agree with you on that. I think what it was is that for me, the Batman was too long. I feel like they stretched it out way too long. I love everything else about it, the seriousness of it and the real life and all that jazz. I just feel like they added stuff to it though that didn't need it. They could have trimmed it up a good bit more than what it was, in
Yeah,
my
and
opinion.
and at the end of the day, I mean, any movie that's over 3 hours, they probably I mean, if you're being completely honest, almost any movie over 2 hours could probably have trimmed some stuff out of there.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, like even Multiverse of Madness, there towards the end, it started to get weak. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And some of the fight scenes were weak in that, but because of Benedict Cumberbatch, like I've really enjoyed Doctor Strange, and like to the point where I wanted to start collecting like his Silver Age stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say outside of that, I might go with what was that called? The Black Phone, I think is the name of the movie.
Oh yeah, did that come out in 2020?
Yeah, well, maybe it didn't. Oh no, it came out in 2021, so I lied. I'm gonna switch and make a lateral path. It came out to streaming.
You saw it in 2022.
Yeah,
So
2022. I think it came out late too. I'll probably switch then to Barbaric. But I'm more of like a horror fan.
I was
So.
gonna say you were really hype about that, and that was on HBO Max, right?
Yeah, it's like it's different. It's weird. It's like one of those movies that I don't honestly think I can really explain to you.
Dale knows
How.
what's up.
Yeah. I did not see this. I said that I've never seen a Top Gun, the Top Gun movie before, so I never saw it. But yeah, my brother-in-law, he loved that movie too. My brother liked it also, so apparently everyone liked it. So.
But your brother the one that got you to watch Barbaric?
Well, he just told me to watch Barbaric,
Mm.
and then I watched it, but I would have watched it anyway.
Yeah.
My brother doesn't really like horror movies, but he watches like the big ones, like I don't know, probably like Midsummer he watched, or like maybe Hereditary, or like the horror movies that people talk about, like the water cooler horror movies. Like I don't think my brother saw Halloween until this year, and he was like, "That movie was awful," and I was like, "You are an idiot," and then I started crying and I left.
The original Halloween or
Yeah,
the
wasn't a
remake?
fan. The original.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know, man. I'm just related to the guy.
My oldest keeps telling me about Midsummer. She's like, "Oh my god, you gotta see it! You gotta see
Oh,
it!"
it's good. I mean, it's very similar. So my favorite horror movie of all time is probably like the original Wicker Man movie, but just because it's so weird, it's more of a suspense movie or a thriller than anything. But it loosely, I mean, it's got a cult, right? So technically, by adjacency, it's a horror movie. But that's kind of like what Midsummer does, right? It's this thing where like, what if this happened? This could happen, and it's weird and creepy and overall pretty good.
All right then. What was your TV show of the year? Your comic book TV show of the year?
TV show of the year. So this is one that you've just recently started watching, from what I've heard, and it is Peacemaker. I did not see Sandman yet.
Oh,
I've seen the
Sandman.
first issue.
Man, that's so good. That's a really good show. Damn, that's a good show. I'm pumped about season 2 for that. That is a really, really good show.
Yeah, and I think that's like kind of one of the ones where I think my wife would maybe watch. We watched the first issue, and it was just kind of like one of those days where it's like, maybe we probably shouldn't have started this show, right? Because it's way more serious than I thought it was. Well, I mean, I knew it was going to be serious, but like, it's like very, very serious and very like you have to pay attention. Like it's like similar to like Game of Thrones, right? Where you can't just like offhandishly watch and also like play on your phone.
Yes, I agree with that. It's definitely not as intertwined as Game of Thrones
Right.
is and stuff like that. It's pretty easy to keep up with, but you definitely need to like actually focus in on it. So, there's an episode towards the end. I can't remember which episode it is, but it's like 2 episodes in one, and one of the episodes in it is Calliope, which that was a cool story. I actually really enjoyed that story. But then, like right before that, is something about cats. I don't know. It was weird as fuck though, and you don't have to watch it to understand anything. Maybe after this first season it'll make sense. I don't know. And I never read the comic book series. I own a lot of it, but I've never read it. And so maybe that has something to do later on. But yeah, it's animated and it's just kittens are drowned. It's weird as fuck, man. I'm just telling you.
All right. Well, I'll get ready for that then. Yeah, I'm trying to think though. I don't know. Like, I don't even think I watched any of Paper Girls. I wanted to watch Paper Girls. I just didn't. I'm trying to think
I
what
thought
else
you'd
is
been all
like.
over that.
I watched the first episode of like DMZ really late at night.
That's only like 3 episodes, isn't it?
I have no idea. I think it was 5, but I could be wrong too. I watched like the first season of the first episode of The Boys, and then I was like, I cannot watch this while my kids are even remotely like away. That first episode, I remember it was funny. I was just saying to my coworker, he was like, "Have you seen The Boys?" And I was like, "Yeah." "Are you on the newest season?" He was like, "Well, I just started a season." And I was like, "Was it like the most insane episode you've ever seen of TV ever?" And he's like, I don't think so. It was pretty mild." And then like a week later, he's like, "So I'm on the season you're talking about. I saw that episode. I know what you're talking about."
Yeah, Richard keeps comparing Peacemaker, and he's like, "If y'all don't like this, then you're definitely not gonna like The Boys." And I'm like, I'm cool with like grotesque stuff and violence and people saying the word fuck, but like Peacemaker for me just was not going anywhere the first 2 episodes. Spoiler alert for our podcast episode coming out this Monday. I'm actually starting to enjoy it now. By episode, 3 and 4, but that's also halfway through the season, so I don't know how the rest of it's going to go.
Yeah, I think when I found out about it was like through well, and by when I found out about it, when I actually started watching it, there were 3 episodes. And I think I watched all 3 of them. So I kind of got like I don't love this, but then the 3rd episode hit and you're like, I'm starting to get it a little bit more.
Yes,
And
that's
so like,
exactly. Yeah.
but then I had to wait. So then I was like, I do like this, and then you wait and then it comes on and you're like, I don't know, it was fun. It was different. It's like, I don't know. It seemed like that movie or show was kind of like, hey, maybe DC starting to do some things that are good. I mean, granted, their TV hasn't necessarily been bad. I mean, I don't know. I liked, the Stargirl, the stuff that I watched. I watched a few. I don't even know if I finished Naomi, but I really like Naomi and I like the character Naomi. Like the show was fine, right? It's just hard when you're watching stuff like that because it's like, do I associate with and like enjoy watching shows about like teenage kids? Sometimes it is good if written well, but like I also know I'm probably not the demographic that's meant for that show.
Yeah. Yeah, the same goes for like Ms. Marvel though.
Yeah, but
Like
I loved Miss Marvel. Oh yeah, maybe Miss Marvel was my favorite show that came out.
What's going on? Where'd you get that?
Oh yeah, I'm
Main
doing a bad
event?
day. Hey, how's it going? Main event, how's it going? And look, your wife showed up.
My missus. Hey,
Oh,
honey.
just kidding. Your wife is not. Where'd you get that? So the comments move quickly, and I'm not as good at this as I should be. But yeah, Miss Marvel. I felt like Miss Marvel was like, of all the Marvel shows that came out, was easily the most solid. Like there was like the least amount wrong with it. Whether or not the TV show worked for you, there wasn't really anything wrong with it. I mean, minus if you say that you don't like that her powers are different in there. I think the main idea is do you want to create the Inhumans all over again?
Oh,
And
well,
that's kind of where, like, with her powers, I think they kind of changed it. Granted, she could have had the exact same powers she currently has, just getting them from rings, but then you have to explain the rings a little bit different. I don't know.
well, and then it begs the question of what happens to her after, like, once this bangle's gone. Like, that's a whole nother mystery in and of itself. Like, does she keep that power? Does she go into embiggening mode then, like physical embiggening mode? You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe the Bengals were inside of her all along.
Maybe so.
Sorry.
Oh, all right. What about comic book wise?
Comic book wise. All right. So, I mean, I think a book everyone's been talking about of one of the best books of 2022 was Do a Power Bomb. I love Do a Power Bomb. It is a book that is not only, and I don't know, like it was great. Daniel Warren Johnson's amazing. One book I technically didn't read until 2023 well, most of it that came out in 2022 that I think is amazing right now is Human Target.
Oh,
Dude, it is so like it's crazy because it's like this is one of those books where like now I'm contemplating, do I start reading all the like Justice League International stuff? Because that's like who it kind of focuses with, right? The idea is the Human Target is hired by Lex Luthor and someone tries to kill him. Well, they end up poisoning him and then he gets shot. So they try and kill him twice. Well, the bullet that hits him, he's wearing a what am I thinking? What's the bulletproof
Kevlar.
vest? He pukes up the poison that he drank. So the poison was supposed to kill him, but now he has like 12 days to live. And he finds out that like the poison is only something that a member of the JLI could get. So he's assuming that one of the members of the JLI is trying to kill Lex Luthor. So he's like, I've got 12 days to live. Let's figure out who killed me essentially, even though I haven't died yet.
Yeah.
And it's kind of this cool little murder mystery. I mean, you get like Guy Gardner's in it. They've got fire. They've got ice. You get what's his name? Gnort. Lex Luthor's he's like the Green Lantern dog thing. There's like an issue with just Booster Gold, an issue with just Blue Beetle.
Well, that's
and like
weird.
you're just kind of like going out because he's trying to figure out which one of these people would want to murder Lex Luthor. And then there's like this whole episode that like got Batman in it technically.
Technically,
that might be a spoiler, but like
what DC series doesn't have Batman? Let's be honest.
Yeah, but I think this is just like it's something. I mean, I don't know. That's like what Tom King does, right? It's something so different, but it read so well, and like I just like everyone's been talking about it. And I was like, man, I got so far behind. Once I got that DCUI Ultra, I just went through and read 9 issues of it, and I had the 10th one in physical form. So I was just like, this is sweet.
Now I've been lacking on my watching of YouTube, but I saw where you did a video on DCUI.
Yeah.
What is it like without spoiling your video? Is it like the Marvel, whatever that is, the digital?
Yeah, the Marvel. So there's Marvel Unlimited is 3 months you have to wait. So DCUI, there's like the DCUI, which is like DC Universe Infinite. That is like $79.99. You get books 6 months after they drop physically. If you get Ultra, which is what I've recently got, you pay $119. You get an extra stuff. So you get Vertigo books, you get Black Label books, and you get every DC book 1 month after it's dropped. So
wow.
Like this new comic book day, Nightwing 100 came out. You got Nightwing 99.
Okay.
So you get the issue before the issue that drops physically. So like for me, it's like, I mean, I was looking at it, and this is, I mean, I say this in my video, and this is fine. It's not really a spoiler. You know, I was getting 8 to 10 DC books a month. Now I've pretty much said I'm going to finish some series that are like Human Target. I need 2 more issues. I'll just get those so that I have the full run. You know, there's a few other books that are like, you know, there's only 2 more issues. So it's like, I'll keep those. And I'm keeping Batman and Detective Comics just because I collect Batman and Detective Comics. And it's like, it doesn't make sense if one of these ends up getting a key. I don't want to have to go back and spend $37,000 on it, even though, you know, I probably could, but overall, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's nice. I use an Amazon Fire tablet. I'm not sure if it's on the in-store or the on-base app store, because I've like jailbroke mine to get the Play Store.
Okay.
So there's certain times that I've seen issues, but the only times I'm really getting issues is like I've had it where I'm in my, like pretty much on my like lunch break, I'll go to my car and sit in my car and read like 2 issues of comics. And it's like but I have to tether off my phone. So I've seen some issues there, right, where I'm tethering off my phone. But who knows if it's just because I'm tethering off my phone in a car. And hey, what is going on, Brian? How you doing? So but so far so good. I think it's, you know, I've enjoyed the service. I was trying to think. There are some other really good books that I like. I mean, I don't know. I kind of Mindset was an amazing book too. So Mindset is a 6-issue. The final issue came out this year, but it was a 6-issue mini from Vault Comics. The idea is these phones are loosely taking over everyone's brains, right? Like they're ruling it. These people create an app that can free you from your phone. The problem is it might also be able to like mind control you. What do you do with this thing? And it's kind of this thing like, are these guys that create this, are they like brainwashing each other to do what they want to do, or were they brainwashing those guys to do what they wanted? Like who's in charge, who's in control? So it's kind of this sci-fi kind of little short romp that's pretty good. I would say the one thing that might turn some people off on that book is the art is very like raw, but it's kind of like it changes a lot because it kind of goes into like and this is something where like now that I finish it, maybe you go back and you look at it like, oh, is this because they're mind controlled? Is this art like this because they're trying to control other people? So like the stylistically it changes a lot, which can be kind of jarring, I think, for some people, especially
Yeah.
if you don't read a ton of like indie comics that have a little bit different of art. But
So is it like when you say raw? Is it like heavy sketch?
yeah, or just like I'm trying to think of another book that might be similar to this. It's kind of it, and not necessarily like how there's certain books where it's like I think some of the people say it with like similar to like Peach Momoko, like her art doesn't have a lot of like detail per se, but her coloring, I think Peach Momoko, where she really changes it, is that her coloring's there, where the coloring in some of this stuff can be kind of muddy, so you don't really know like what's a line and what's not a line, I guess. And hey, we've got Manny, the Hobgoblin Collectors. Hey,
Man,
welcome.
hey, what's going
And he's one
on?
of the people that I think I shouted out for your 500 subscriber giveaway.
I think you're
Because
right. He's been
he
coming over
he
and
was at
checking out my
8,
channel
and
a
I think
lot.
now he's got double the amount of subscribers last time I looked. And hey, what is going on, Cash and Dad Pack Busters? If there's somebody that is really taken off by using YouTube Shorts, it is them. They did videos of their dogs and get crazy views and subs. Like I'm pretty sure that they gained 1,000 subs in like 3 to 4 months,
Well,
which is
congratulations
yeah,
to that. That's
like
awesome.
and that's where like there's been a lot of stuff where
But so
we've
you just
talked about
dropped
this.
mid sentence. What the fuck?
Oh, I dropped or you dropped? No, yeah, sorry. No, somebody from work texted me and I got kind of confused. So, hey, what is going on, Roscoe? How are you doing? But yeah, what about yourself? What are some of the things that you really enjoyed reading?
I'm gonna say lately, and this counts because it came out in 2022. But lately, the top of my list has been the Zdarsky Batman and Daredevil. Now, Daredevil's kind of thrown me off. It seems really choppy for whatever reason. But like both of those, I've really, really thoroughly enjoyed those. I don't know when this other one came out, but there's a recent Invincible Iron Man #1 that just came out here, and I can't for the
I think
life of
that
me
was at like
remember.
December or November.
Was it December? That sounds right.
It's fairly recent. I think that Mark from Legion of Comics even really liked that because people said something about that.
It's a really good jumping on point for Iron Man. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But what I don't like is it's very similar to. It seems like, anyways, it's very similar to Batman, where like both these wealthy guys that are superheroes have lost all their money, and it's like, okay, y'all got to quit copying each other or something.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this.
Oh, I think I skipped this. I did not read the new Bane one shot.
I didn't either.
I left it on the shelf only due to the fact that I have recently switched to DC UI Ultra, and that was like one of those books where it's like I've gotten all of these. Do I pick this up or do I not? And it's like it's a 6. It's maybe either $5.99 or $6.99, and that's kind of where it goes.
Those bad day covers are freaking amazing and fire, and I want to buy them every single time I see them, but like I'm trying so hard to cut back on all my new comic book day stuff so that I can sit there and like actually work on some of these runs that I'm wanting for this year and stuff like that, and like the keys that I want for this year. So I'm really am sticking to like anything that's just I really enjoy reading, or if it's just an absolute cover buy for me, beyond a shadow of a doubt kind of thing.
Yep.
So like I'm trying really hard not to get into anything new because I just don't want to take away from the back and any Silver Age stuff or Bronze Age stuff that I'm going, or even Golden Age now that I'm going for, especially with all the prices coming down. So David said Daredevil is so good and crossing over with Punisher, which has been fire. Yeah, I haven't read 7 yet. I just got it in today. But 6 I saw where like they're just now starting to bring you're actually starting to see the Punisher and the Daredevil, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be good. I'm so excited for that.
I think those are 2 books that I actually was pulling through Gmart, but I still haven't. I've read the first 2 or 3 issues of Punisher, maybe. I got to the point where a person in Frank's life reunites with him. I think that's probably the second or third issue.
I picked up not long ago. I was watching a damage sale on Anti-Hero and whatnot, and they had a Peach Momoko Punisher #1, and I grabbed it, but I've yet to open it up and read it. So I don't know. I don't know. It was a cover buy.
Yeah, that does sound good. I'm definitely probably going to read it. I know that it's been kind of weird with those Batman books. They've been either like really good or really bad, and I think mostly the only one that people like 100% agree with has probably been the Tom King one being very good. Just to make you more upset. It's a really good issue of the Riddler. I think you'd probably like it. I mean, I don't know. He does good stuff. Hey, Happy New Year, Steve. How are you doing? So we got comics, we got movies, we got TV show out of the way. I think those are mostly the things.
For 2022.
Yeah,
What are
for
you looking
2022.
forward to though, comic wise for 23?
Comic wise for 2023. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm really enjoying switching to reading a lot more digitally. Like it is just
Really?
in a reading sense, yes, because I can just lay on my side in bed, have my thing not set to flip and just scroll through pages, right? I can be as comfortable as I want and enjoy it, where it's like, I don't know, like that's the thing. I get behind on reading floppies because I don't want to read a floppy in bed. You just kind of do it like, also too, I have 2 young kids. So if I'm reading them, sometimes my kids are just like smacking it and like, what if this is going to be a key book? Sorry that my troubles of reading paper comics is so funny to you, but this is like kind of something that, I don't know. It's just digital like works in a weird way. And I thought I'd never be that person. The only thing that I've noticed though is sometimes with certain indie stuff, I can tell the art is a lot more raw when it's on a digital platform and not on a piece of paper, which is kind of odd.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Say that last part one more time for me.
Some indie comics and even some DC and Marvel books, like if the artist isn't like super solid, I feel like it shows more digitally than it does on paper. You can
Okay.
see flaws more digitally because it's brighter,
Yes. Well, and like so the way that's and I assume that DCUI is this way as well, where like you can go from panel to panel, not necessarily page to page, but you can go down to like the panel and have the panel blown up and you
Yeah.
can sit there and go panel to panel. So now you've put that one panel under a microscope essentially. You know what I mean?
Well, I know there's certain things that kind of reveal a lot better when you read it panel to panel, but it just takes
Yes.
longer. And that's the other thing. My tablet has issues when you're fast scrolling. It kind of lags. So like if I was on page 14 and I was offline and then I get back and I just quick scroll to page 14, it takes me about 30 seconds to get there.
Okay.
Just because there's a little bit of lag. But we do have a question here. So, what is a good book to introduce comic books to an 11-year-old? I think this is a question that's very hard to answer directly, but I would say the number one question I would revert back to is what or who does this 11-year-old like when it comes to like either if they don't like superheroes, like what type of shows or movies do they like? Because there's certain stuff like that. Like if your 11-year-old was a huge Power Rangers fan, there are a ton of great Power Ranger books. I mean, I think 11 might be too old for that. I would say some books that I think, at least Marvel wise, I would probably say one of the best books. And I don't know, this is probably like a teen book, so maybe a little bit, I mean, depending on how much they are. Like the Spider-Man Blue book is a great little one-shot arc thing. I loved all of those Marvel color books. Like they have Daredevil yellow, I think they have Captain America white and Hulk gray, but it was Tim
Mhm.
Sale and Jeff Loeb's. So yeah, I would say if you want to get them into Marvel, that might be a good Spider-Man book. I mean, it's kind of like it kind of depends on what they want to read too, because certain heroes are going to have certain good arcs, like, and it kind of depends on like the stuff that they like. I would say like really good books. I don't know. Some of the really good books in Marvel are probably a little bit more mature right now.
I mean, for me, as much as I hate him, I would definitely say Spider-Man's probably one of the first ones to go for as far as for an 11-year-old. That's what my son reads. Um, I'd even go down the Miles route, of course, because I think that is the next generation's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
So
know my
those would,
daughter considers him Spider-Man at this point,
yeah.
and
And
Peter
there's
Parker Spidey.
Yeah, and they get introduced to so many characters through the Spider-Man books, it seems like. So, and there's different iterations of Spider-Man, so like, if one's not for them, they could probably find one that is for them. Um, Champions would probably be a decent one as well, maybe, just because the age of most of the participants on that team,
I'm a
especially.
huge fan of Champions, and I would say that that's a good book. I didn't even really think of that because yeah, you get Miles Morales, you get Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, Riri Williams shows up at some points. It's got Cyclops, but it's Cyclops, the Cyclops that you know and love. But he went back in time. Now he's a kid. Then eventually he leaves the team because he goes back into the future and becomes an adult. It's very weird, but it's kind of cool. He leads the team for a while, teaches them. Then they figured out how to be a team without him.
Sam Alexander Nova's on
Yeah,
it.
he's great. Amadeus Cho is the Hulk. Viv Vision is a very underrated character. I usually have said that I'm not super into like robots, but I think she is kind of a funny one, and just her interactions too. Spider-Man, yeah, yeah, and I mean, the X. So there is an X-Men 94 book. I don't know if it's good or no. It's maybe called X-Men Legacy. That is kind of very in vain with the 90s X-Men.
X-Men, like I've tried so many times to pick up X-Men books to get back into them, and they're never what I think or want them to be. I want to say the closest thing I got to something that I actually enjoyed, there was an X Factor book that came out many years back. And in fact, I think it was when I started getting back into comics, but it had Bishop in it, and that's one of my favorites. And it was them fighting vampires, and I was totally not into it at all. And I was like, all right, bump this noise. I ain't got time for it. So I wound up finishing it, and I wound up reading it. It was like a 20 issue, run, but still, it just wasn't. It wasn't for me. So X-Men books are really hard for me to get back into. All New X-Men that came out several years back, and it deals with the time displaced X-Men, like Cole was talking about. The Cyclops came from that, but there was like a time displaced Jean, Beast, and Iceman. It was all the original X-Men. That was pretty cool for a bit, but sometimes it took stupid turns, and it wasn't. Again, it fell apart. It seems like, and it was written by Brian Michael Bendis, and I enjoy Brian Michael Bendis, but I didn't enjoy his version of X-Men.
Yeah, Brian
So
Michael Bendis is very. I mean, he's definitely did a lot better stuff at Marvel than he did at DC, but he's a solid writer for sure.
that's probably a really good spot to start at. Is the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man for an 11-year-old? That was his
Brian Michael
version of
Bendis, yeah,
Spider-Man.
he created Miles, didn't he? In that,
He did create Miles, and it was later on. There's like 150 issues of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, and it's all Peter Parker throughout that. Um, so yeah, I mean those are all back issue bin kind of stuff. I'm sure there's trades of it out there as well. So, and I think there's 2 volumes too. So yeah, I mean that and it was a coming of it was like bringing Peter Parker the what is it 61, 61, 16, 16. I don't know, whatever. The Ultimate Universe, and like bringing his origin story if it was to happen now, or at least
Oh
back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
So,
And one thing, get them hooked on comics and cards, and then there's no money to buy drugs and booze. Yeah, great thought. So the one thing I would say to you too is if your son has a tablet, I would highly recommend at least you can sign up for free for 7 days the Marvel Unlimited app. You won't be able to get like the new stuff, but like that Ultimate Comic stuff, that should all be there. You know, you can find probably Spider-Man Blue is probably on there, or you can just tell them like find some stuff and read it and see what you like. I mean, the hard thing is there's just so much stuff with a lot of these characters that it's like hard to know, you know, what's the best at the time. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that's all good too. And I mean, yeah, I'm sure that I can ask some other more Spider-Man focused people or X-Men focused people that'll tell you. I mean, the hard thing is like X-Men just did this crazy thing called House of X Powers of 10, and it was like a 12 issue book that was great, and I loved it, and I'm like, I'm ready to get into X-Men. And then it's like, just kidding, if you want to read X-Men, you need to have 7 books on your pull list. And I was like, I cannot do that. That is too many books. But I wanted to go all in, but it's just like I don't even buy 7 Batman books, and there's like 47 of those.
right? Yeah, I just as much as it pains me, I agree. I have to go with Spider-Man. It's just that just seems like the most kid-friendly anything. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably why he's he's the Mickey Mouse of Marvel. You know what I mean? Like, anybody can pick up a book of Spider-Man and start reading it. It doesn't matter what age you are for the most part. So,
I don't think did we even get into what you were excited to read for 2023? We just
no, we were answering a great question. Is what we were
great
doing.
question though. Yeah, and thank you.
I'm excited for this new run of Iron Man. I'm excited to keep reading Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil and Batman. And in fact, I'm looking to see whatever else Chip Zdarsky puts out, because apparently I really enjoy his writing.
Do you read Jed MacKay at all?
What does he do?
Jed MacKay is doing Moon Knight currently.
Oh, yes.
He did the 10-issue Strange run. Apparently the final issue came out yesterday.
I wanted to read that.
That book has been fantastic. I don't know. Jed MacKay is like, I think, the most underrated Marvel author. Every book that he's put out, I feel like people love. Like, he did like some Mary Jane Black Cat like tie-in book to something or other, and people were talking about how great it was. And now there's a dark web one, and people are saying they think that because this one got more issues, there's just going to be a Mary Jane Black Cat like book out in the world where they're like doing like I read the tie-in, because I think the tie I don't know, there was one where it was just like, I don't know, they're just like fighting with each other but also trying to like help Peter. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I've been wanting to pick up Strange books only because the artwork is simply freaking amazing on all those covers. So I've been wanting to get that, but I just haven't allowed myself to pick any of that up. And then I've picked up several issues of Moon Knight here and there, whether it be through Walmart packs or I think I got a couple from you. And those, like, I've read them and I'm like, even though I'm missing stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, this is what I wanted to see in the TV show. Like, this is awesome. And so, but I've been fighting the urge to try and catch up and like buy the back issues and stuff, because I'm like, I really want to focus on like my Iron Man run and just any other Silver Age like older book stuff. So
yeah, and I know, and maybe that's where some of the digital reading might also come into play if you want to get into that. Hey, what is going on, John? How are you? Oh, John, you might actually have a very good answer for this. For Marvel books for an 11-year-old, I feel like, and maybe even with some X-Men related stuff, do you have any good recommendations out there?
yes,
Because I know that Cash and Dad Packbusters had just asked us that question. I feel like you know a lot better in those two realms than the two of us combined.
and he ain't wrong. Bishop is legit.
Yeah. And now that John's showing up, I also remembered that I really loved the now I completely forgot what the Reckless books. There were 2 of them that came out last year. So it's the Ed Brubaker. They're straight to hardcover graphic novels,
Uh-huh.
and they are these kind of like it's like a pulp noir book where it's just about this dude in the 80s who's like doing private eye stuff, but he's also not a licensed private eye. So maybe he kills somebody, maybe he breaks some people's skulls open. Like that's what he's doing. But all the stuff is like very weird. Like one of them is about this. He's dating a girl and they end up watching this movie and she's like, that's my lost sister. And then he ends up trying to find her, finds out she was in this weird like death cult stuff and like just going around. He like owns a movie theater and he doesn't work because he got rich somehow. And he's just like this kind of like badass private detective. But it's Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips or
Was that the same team that was on Killer Be Killed?
yes.
I love Killer Be Killed. That's then it sounds like what you're describing sounds like a relative of Killer Be Killed.
Yeah, so like their big thing was Criminal. And this is probably more like Criminal. The cool thing is like he's got this sidekick, some of her stuff comes in too. So it's like intertwined. But yeah, Killer Be Killed, I think I love that too. It's very like that, but Killer Be Killed had that weird like, is he insane or is he actually possessed by a demon?
Yeah. I need to finish that. I was enjoying that. So oh, we got an answer from John.
Yeah, so the kids love the Double Trouble. And that was one thing my daughter is into Double Trouble right now, but I didn't know if that would be too young. Oh yeah, I forget about the Thor and Loki because my shop has that. Slightly older kid. Oh yeah, Strange Academy. That was one that I probably would have thought about, but I didn't really. Yeah, Strange Academy. I think they're saying is like Doctor Strange, Harry Potter.
And there's some spec on that too.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. My shop just got a full run of that. So now the Strange is up on the board of stuff that costs more money.
Yeah.
Which now he has 2 first appearances of Gambit on that wall.
Oh, really?
One is really cheap and one is way too expensive.
What's really cheap?
$80. But I don't know. It needs some work. I don't know that it's work. It's weird. It's like one of those books, right? Where it's like, I don't know. For me, it gets weird with those books from the 90s. It's like, do you want a copy that's maybe below an 8?
Yeah. I think I can't remember what mine is. Mine's
You have a 6.5.
Oh, look at you knowing my collection. Jeez.
I literally watched your video that you had that's in it today, and that's the only reason I know.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, you made like a short and you're rolling through and you see it because I was like, because I thought you said that you wanted to get that book this year, but maybe I made that up in my head. Or maybe you wanted it last year and you got it last year.
I got it last year. Yeah. I got that one last year because I wanted to, because I was hearing rumblings of casting and I was like, I need to pull the trigger on this if I want this for any kind of a decent price before it gets stupid. And so I found that one at a pretty decent price, already graded as 6.5. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one. So yeah. I think I can crack it. Crack it and press and clean it. And I think it'll come back better. Because there's nothing major with it really. So I don't know that I'll break near mint, but I think a very fine possibility. So
oh, solid. Oh, John, since you're here, I know you're a bourbon guy, and this is one that is definitely not going to really change your mind at all. But I've got a store pick of Woodford Reserve. This is probably like the baseline for whiskey that is good that you can almost buy anywhere. But it's a store pick, which means it's slightly different.
Good night, main event.
Yeah, good night, main event. And yeah, thank you for letting me be the main event comics world champion. I come from Mustache Mountain. Hey, what's going on, Bearded Comic Bro? He does these simulated wrestling matches with comic community people, and I beat Brian LCS for that world championship because I am coming from Mustache Mountain. That is my location, so it says Cole from Mustache Mountain. It's kind of funny.
John's a fan of Woodford.
Yeah. I think Woodford. I used to listen to this whiskey podcast, and they used to call Woodford and Knob Creek airport whiskey because they're the best whiskey you can buy in an airport.
All right then.
Yeah. I'm hoping that by the end of this month, I will probably get to 800 the way that things are going.
Hell, I'm hoping by the end of the night you like 8 away, ain't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been going. Luckily, I have taken to shorts and they have taken to me a little bit. So I've definitely gained a lot of subscribers in the last few
I was
months.
gonna say U.S. Vaughn have been killing it with the shorts, like
It's
killing
just,
it.
yeah.
So
So we were supposed to do this in December, but I got snowed in. We went to my mother-in-law's. We canceled it. It really didn't even snow that much, but it was like one of those weird things because no one really left. And by the time I left her house, which was 3 days later, they still hadn't fully cleared the roads out. I think because it was right around Christmas. Force me to make Yeah, I did force you to make shorts, sorry. Because it was like right towards the end of Christmas. I think
yeah,
they just kind of let people have some time off because like businesses were shutting down. Like my work shut down and they don't normally do that. So I think they were just kind of letting the people like do it. So it seemed worse where if everyone was working in full staff, it probably wouldn't have been. But
they were
uh,
like that. Go ahead.
no, keep going with the way you're going because it won't make sense for you to come back to this if I say what I was going to say.
They were talking like snow and stuff like that for us as well. And like here in the South, it's totally different than like up there where you're at. So like they started talking about snow, and I was like, no, bump that noise. I'm not dealing with it. Not on Christmas. It's not happening. I went out and bought a generator because I was like, I'm not I'm not dealing with this garbage of stupid people and not having power. No, I'm not doing it. So I was like, nope. Went out, bought a generator.
I've got I've got like a generator that can run my refrigerator.
Yeah, I mean it's you don't need a whole lot. I mean,
Yeah, it's like one that you would bring to a work site to run your table saw. It was my
I got you.
father-in-law's old one, and he was like, "This sort of works, but it's gonna be a pain." And you almost have to like restart it every like X amount of time. But it's only made really in the winter, or sorry, in the summer if we lose power, because then I can just keep my refrigerator and my food doesn't go bad.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I was doing a bunch of math trying to figure out. I was like, all right, like I need something that charges tablets and Nintendo Switches and possibly run a TV and definitely the deep freezer and the refrigerator because I don't want none of that to spoil either. So we got a decent sized one, nothing huge or major, ridiculous, but we got one that would run some stuff. So
yeah, my mother-in-law loses power all the time. She is one that just kicks on automatically now.
oh no, that's sweet.
Yeah. But then you have to get gas for it all the time. Maybe it's battery powered. I don't even know anymore.
Might be propane. They got propane ones.
Yeah. I don't think she has propane at her house. So
Oh.
it'd be maybe natural gas though. Because they do have the I don't know if that's the thing you can get. But the thing I was going for is that on December, one of my Monday mail calls is I asked people to give us questions.
Yeah.
So some of these might be slightly dated. And the questions might be a little bit weirder now that we know some of them. But the most dated one of all of them is probably this. So I'm going to give it to you first. Well, there's two of them, a few of them. So the first one is, what do you guys think of Aftershocks going out of business? Is this a trend of things to come from smaller indie publishers? This came from Digger Jim. And I don't know if you know this as much as like I do, but recently they came out. Aftershock is starting to put books out again. From what it sounds like, they went bankrupt to maybe get money because they owed like somebody money, and now they can at least maybe pay their creators. I forgot what the actual reasoning of that is. Or they were going to try and sell the company to maybe not get creators their money. So by going bankrupt, they were able to bring it back and hopefully be able to pay some of these creatives. So I think that they're doing it the right way, which is good.
Yeah, because they weren't paying the artist or something like that, right? Like they just stopped paying them or something, right?
There were a few people that did not get paid. I know specifically Cullen Bunn and Stephanie Phillips they released a statement and their addresses were leaked in that. So
Oh
that's
wow.
not very great, especially like yeah, but
No.
hey, and hey yo, how's it going, Nick?
What's going on, Nick?
I mean, you're definitely in the heart of me currently, so you're always a part of the panel of every panel that I'm on.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a trend. Like, the big three would be DC, Marvel, and what, Image. And so maybe you could see some stuff going down with DC just because of the hierarchy shift and stuff like that. But like, I wouldn't think to that extent. That just seems whatever. So
Yeah, I know that I am in a Discord that has a lot of indie publishers in it or indie creators. Cullen Bunn is one of them, and I think he made a statement that said this could be a thing that happens to more indie creator or publishers. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not, because they, that would be unfortunate. But I think there's some that are good, and we'll see kind of what's going on with that as the future comes along. Another one that's probably a little bit more dated from when that happened. This one's coming from Brian LCS, who was here at one point. Who do you in 22 cast as the new Superman?
oh shit. That's funny that comes out that we get that question today, because I was seeing things of the Guardians crew going over to DC. So everybody's like, "Oh, is Chris Pratt gonna die in the Guardians 3?" And I don't think he is. I think
Drax.
Drax is definitely gonna die. I'd
Would
almost
Chris
put money
Pratt
on
make a
that.
good Superman?
I don't know that he would. I don't know.
I don't know who I would cast him as in the DC world, but like I think that maybe he could do like I mean, you'd have to change some things about him a little bit, but maybe like an Oliver Queen, maybe like a Green Arrow. Like obviously his hair doesn't really fit that, but he's got kind of like some of the stuff that he could maybe do that role.
I've been wanting for the longest time, and a lot of other people have too. The guy that played Jax in Sons of Anarchy, I wanted him to be the Green Arrow for years. Years. Oh my god, Drax as Wildcat, that would be freaking amazing. I love that. Yes. Yes, and that is right up Gunn's alley too. I want to say that I could see maybe Bradley Cooper being Hal Jordan, but I don't want any big name people in like any big roles, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think too the way that James Gunn wants to do things, I think getting some more unknowns. I don't know. It seems like between Superman or Batman, you almost have to have like one rising star, right? Like, I mean, kind of like Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland had a little bit of acting chops beforehand, but
Yeah. Well, and like Gunn seems to be running things like almost like a Happy Gilmore, where he like has his crew and he like brings them to every
yeah,
movie
or Happy
kind of thing.
Madison.
Yeah. Hunnam, that's his name. Nick got it. Hunnam is gonna be in the new Snyder Star Wars type movie. Ugh.
I don't know what any of that means, but
Uh, um, I honestly would like to see Bradley Cooper take over the mantle of Indiana Jones. That's what I really, really wanted him to see. I know that's not Superman, but I don't know. Like, I don't care about Superman. Brian, why would you give me a question about Superman? I don't care anything.
It was so this is right when Henry Cavill and the whole stuff started happening. So that was more of like a top. That's why kind of like some of these ones that I'm trying to get out of here are more like topical to what is happening. Well, this is a good one, especially for like this year. Let's do this for like, well, I guess yeah. This is just a good one. This is from Zach's collections. But what is a comic that you passed on that you now regret?
Oh, it was an Uncanny X-Men 266, and that was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was at my first con, and a guy had a 4.5, I believe, and it was every bit a 4.5 in a CGC, but he wanted $50 for it. And I regret that I never, like, even to possibly, like, just turn now. Like, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
upgrade later. Like, I regret I never, like, picked that up. Like, it still haunts me to this day that I didn't. Even though I have one now, and it's even in a better grade. Like, I still wish I'd
for
picked that
$50,
one up.
you probably could have flipped that at least for 100 now. I mean, maybe 150.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could have done something with it at least. I mean,
so one book that I'm currently looking for in this year is an Ultimate Fallout 4. And I remember being like 5 years ago when I was starting comics, people were like, you should just buy those books up. And I remember like $95 on eBay. Like, that's too much for a guy that I don't think is going to be better than Peter Parker at some point.
right? Right?
And now that's, I mean, a 9.8 technically maybe sells for $1,000 depending on how the market is at the time, but maybe
I was gonna
more
say
than
they're
that.
starting to come down.
Yeah, they are starting to come down, which I think is beneficial right now. But I feel like once that new Spider-Verse movie comes out, people are going to be like, I forgot that I like this dude.
Well, do you see Reggie Collects hyping up the possibility of Miles coming to the MCU?
Oh, no.
He put a short out here maybe yesterday or something like that, and he was like, here's why I think Miles, essentially paraphrasing, here's why I think Miles is coming to the MCU. And it was, I can't remember who put out the clip, but it was all, I want to say it was Marvel, but it was all these like superheroes, and they were doing flash ups and stuff like that. And it was like comic versions of the fights we'd seen in the MCU and stuff like that. Anyways, as they were throwing up like characters, they threw up Sam Wilson, Captain America, and then right next to him was Miles. And like Miles was the only one out of all the things that he had gone through that has not come to the MCU yet. So I don't know that I believe him on that. Like, I don't know that that's like, a real thing or whatever. But I mean, I would think eventually we're gonna see him. I don't know why Sony hadn't pulled the trigger on that yet. Anyways, that seems like the biggest, that and Spider Gwen. In fact, I'd probably bring Spider Gwen out first before I brought Miles out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but yeah. I mean, I got my first appearance of Spider-Gwen last year. My shop got one, and it was a good enough condition for. I probably overpaid for it, but hey, I got to see it firsthand, which is nice. I got to hold it firsthand, and he let me wait a few weeks before I actually bought it, so that was nice too. Yeah, dude, it's always crazy with some of these books. Like, that was the thing. I remember though. I mean, the best decision I made of my life, instead of getting that Ultimate Fallout 4, I got a Batman 133, which is the first appearance of Kite Man, and I paid $20 for it. That's a lie. I paid $20 to get it shipped to my house. It's like a 0.5 copy, but that 0.5 copy could probably net $35 right now.
What's 171? I'm blanking.
I think that's the
best response you could ever have for that bearded. I'm just saying. Like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I think I mean, is that the Riddler one?
Is it?
Riddler, yeah.
Because is it 181 that's Poison Ivy?
Poison Ivy is 181, yeah.
Okay.
Which that is one of the books that I got this year.
Yeah.
Probably. But it is
Kite Man versus Stilt Man from John's Comics with Kids. That's great. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what else I've passed on. Like, I've gotten super, super like lucky in the sense of really big key books, honestly. So I can't really like gripe and complain about a whole lot.
This is the second appearance of Kite Man, I think, or third.
Let's see. I picked up a Forever People and New Gods, both of them #1s for like $100 in an eBay buy once, and they're in decent shape. They need some work, but they're still in pretty deep. They're not 0.5s or nothing like that. My Ultimate Fallout 4, I think I paid $2 for in a back bin at Second and Charles years ago, and then I found the second print on eBay. Guy was selling it as a facsimile. I said, "Yo, is the book in the pictures? Is that actually what I'm gonna get?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "It says best offer. Like, what are you looking to get for it?" And he was like, "I mean, $11. I'd be happy to give it to you." Cool. Yeah, send it over to me. I'll go ahead and pay for that.
Well, apparently I can't find where I put that book, but it was supposed to be there at some point. First appearance of Kite Man is too hot. People start hunting the second appearance now. I also have the third appearance in the second.
So I assume you like the Harley Quinn animated show then?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched so I've watched season 1 and 2.
Okay.
Have they? I don't know if they released the third one. I guess I could watch that.
I think they've
They did.
gone. I think they've gone as far as the fourth.
Oh, the last
think-
episode I saw was the one where like Kite Man and Poison Ivy are supposed to get married and then they don't, and then they made the TV or the comic about it.
Yeah. They've already come out with the season after that.
So that was the third season then.
I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember now.
Well, I'm still proud of you.
That's great.
I'm trying to think. Some of these. Oh, this was another good one. Do you think Gal Gadot will be replaced as Wonder Woman? Because that's from D. Piercy Comics.
Yes.
It's still kind of an unknown, right? Or is it not?
I think she'll be replaced.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a hard one. She was fairly solid. I don't know. She's definitely probably going to be older than the other people. But in fairness, Diana technically is older than
Henry Cavill was solid.
Yeah.
I don't think that, matters. Like, I think he's gone. I'm more curious as to whether or not Ezra Miller is going to stay or if.
Yeah, that's like the weirdest thing of all of this, right? Is that it's like the one dude that's loosely kind of insane and did some stuff that's probably like he should be the first one that you just kick off the island, right?
And then what's his name? Aquaman.
Jason Momoa. Well, there were talks of maybe having him slide into Lobo.
He could also do both. Like,
you're right. He probably could.
I mean, if he wanted to, I guess. You know what I mean? So, like, that's my thing. Is like, why are we keeping the Aquaman film? You know what I mean? Like, I can understand why we're keeping the Flash movie to a certain extent because that's going to probably reboot everything. But like Aquaman, like, why are we keeping that if it's not going to do whatever? So
you never know. I don't know. It seems weird. I don't know. I feel like James Gunn is maybe loosely trolling all of us, and maybe we're just going to get it. Like 4 years from now, Henry Cavill is going to be Superman again, and people are going to be like, "I told you he was the best," and then and he's going to have a terrible Superman movie, and everyone's going to be like, "This guy's awful. Who wanted this?"
I think he's going to come back too because I feel like they're going to do like an Infant Crisis or something like that. Like I feel like we're going to have him back as Superman.
That would be crazy in the movies. I never saw the TV show version of it. I've heard moderately good things, but minus Flash, and even Flash to some degree got pretty like. I remember my wife walked into me watching Arrow. I was playing like World of Warcraft I played Final Fantasy, the like MMO at the time. She walked in on me watching Arrow, playing that game. And was like, "What in the hell are you watching? Is this soap operas?" I was like, loosely, but there's superheroes in it.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
And if you have any questions or anything, you know where to hit me up, ask me, and I can probably get some more information for you. But yeah, this one's still this one's a sad one for sure to pass up like a Stan Lee signed book. The only thing that I will say personally for me, I personally kind of like, I don't know how many books that I have. Like I have a few books that are signed that I wasn't there for. So like my buddy Steve Hayner, who's been in the chat in and out today, he sent me a Justice League book that was signed by Scott Snyder.
yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I haven't met Scott Snyder, but that's a cool thing. I got like in a mystery box, I got a David Nakayama signed cover, and like he's one of my favorite cover artists. So that was kind of cool. But like like getting a book physically signed by somebody is also kind of like cool to be there. Like I met Peter Tomasi this year, and I brought he did one of the first books that I read when I was getting back into comics was his Black Adam run.
Okay.
And I brought him the first, and it's the only Black Adam or the first Black Adam solo run. I brought him in to sign it, and it's like at best this is an 8.0. And he just was like, looked at it and looked at me, and he's like, "Do you mind if I like flip through this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like looking through it. He was like, "Man, this was a fun book to write." And I was like, yeah, this is like literally one of the books that got me back into comics. I didn't even know what Black Adam was. I just was like, he's holding because he's like cuddling a skeleton on the cover.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just saw that and I was like, that seems pretty badass.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't think I've gotten one single comic signed at. Yeah, I don't have one single comic that I've been like taken somewhere and had it signed by somebody yet. Like that's just I have not, and I have a plethora of like signed books that I've picked up here and there that I want to send to CGC and get them at least verified. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's a good signature.
Yeah, but like definitely some color breaking spine ticks on this one. Like
That's just
book,
love.
yeah. This book, and that was why he just, but it was just kind of funny too. He looks at this and like, mind if I read that? But it was just like one of those books where it was like, I don't know. I know that like one of the things Rob has said, was like Rob Fastax, he'll bring those 2099 books to people. And it's like stuff that they wrote, and they're like, talk to them about it because they're just pumped that somebody actually read that book. Like Frank Cho, he wrote this book on Boom called, what was it called? I forget the name of it. Skybound. It was called Skybound. And I really enjoyed it. I just remember I saw the cover. This podcast I listened to talked about it. And so I was like, okay. And we end up going, or I end up bringing it to him. And he was like, did you read this book? And I was like, yeah, I really liked it. And like, I was talking to him about it. And he was like, I've never had somebody bring this book to me. Everyone just brings of women, and like sat and talked to me for like 5 minutes about this book and how he enjoyed actually being able to write. So, and yeah, hey, Seth 11, there are probably a ton of other things. I've got this amount of whiskey left. And hey, yeah, there is still drinking here. Keep them flowing. So yeah, you ran out. I wish I could like fax you some. I'm still confused at where the hell this Poison Ivy book was.
I have like no books. I do have this. I was about to say I have no books at arm's reach that I can even show or whatever. But I don't even know that this is gonna like come out on camera, and it's not done. So like I've already said something, so now I have to show it, I guess. But I saw where Amazon has like started to mail me markers because I bought some markers because I've never done color and markers. But I've started drawing this.
Oh, that is awesome.
And it's a Darth Vader head. It's like a profile or whatever. So I'm hoping to throw some like black on there and then some like silver metallic to do some outlining and stuff like that. But yeah, I found that in like a $2 bin or something like that at Second and Charles. And
oh, just the blank?
Well, somebody had already drawn on it, but like
so you're coloring it.
Well, no. I actually drew the Darth Vader head. But see all this
Oh,
black in the background?
what even
Like
is that supposed to be?
it's supposed to be like Darth Vader's like chest piece and stuff and one of his arms, but they did it upside down. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
What in tarnation?
And so then I was looking at it and I was like, I would really like to do something really cool with this, but there's this. So I sanded it. I took sandpaper because nobody signed it either. I would have felt bad if somebody had signed it, but nobody signed it. And so I sanded the front and the back because they had this giant like Death Star kind of thing going on back here. And I sanded it all the way down to like smooth or whatever. So then I started drawing my own like thing on there. So now I got to get the markers in and see if the markers are going to cover up all that stuff and put the silver highlights in.
You're
So
gonna find out that that was like a John Jang original from like the first thing he ever did. Can't believe I sold that to Second and Charles just to try and get a few extra blank covers.
right, right. That's funny. Yeah, it was done with like acrylic paint or something like that. I don't know. It was weird. Super weird. I bought some other like blank covers to draw. And I got this really cool idea for a Grogu and Mando cover. So I just don't know that I have a good cover for it to go on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what would you put that on. Well, obviously just Star Wars something. I guess I don't know if the Mando came out with a blank cover.
I think they did. I don't have one. So I need to look and see if my comic shop has one or not.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things too is at local cons getting people to do sketch covers. I'll just like I've got these 3 covers. Which one do you want to draw?
I need to hit up Dale because I need to figure out like how do you sit there and draw something and then send it into CGC and get them to like verify. You know what I mean? Because I think
So
like
you can definitely easily I think he just said that he made it, but I don't I mean I like that was the thing. So with CBCS, I got a remark from John Jang, and they're like, we don't have to see him do it. We just have to see you get the handoff from him.
oh really?
Because like a sketch takes hours.
Yeah.
But it's like if John Jang's handing me the book and they're like, we're from CBCS, are you saying that you made this? He'll be like, yep.
Okay, so they actually, but they still have to be there in person to watch him hand it to you.
Yeah, correct.
Got you. Okay,
I'm just pulling out some of the sketch covers that I have.
that's where I was. That's where I got the idea from. Nick was from that Reservoir Dogs on the
Stray Dogs.
yeah, on the Stray Dogs cover. That's I remember he drew that and sent it in, and you picked that up from him. So CBCS just verifies the sig, not the remark. I would assume if they saw it though, then they would verify the remark, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they do. I think they do. Do they not? Because he like specifically wrote first remark on mine.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
I was like, well, they note that, and he's like, they should. These are some of the. So this is one that I got at a con, but I just kind of handed it to the guy. What do you want to do? And he was like, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? And I said Donatello.
Oh yes.
And then I've got
That's
2
a good one. Dadgum, that's got some detail.
Yeah, I got 2 from Roscoe here. This is the Spider-Man one.
Yes, I love that one. Yeah.
Which I don't know if you've seen the back. You probably have, but
Yeah.
oh crap. Tape. He did this one. This is probably my favorite.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
And then White Tiger Cool Calm Collectibles did this Jason Michael Myers one.
I love that. I love that one.
And then Cardboard Crazy, I actually won this from White Tiger mystery box.
That's awesome too. That worked out great for you. Another
Donatello, which is funny. He posted this and I wanted to buy it, and I like was gonna make an offer, and then he wrote sold on it, and then I won it in a mystery box.
Nick says, "Yep, I think it's all a yellow label though." Got one back today. Says verified signature sketch on the front.
I mean, I would assume that if it says verified, unless you had the signature and the sketch from different people.
I don't think they do anything outside Yellow Label anymore. I think all of it, whether it's
So is the sketch supposed to not be Yellow Label? So the difference that they do, I've had my daughter do 2 sketch covers at the cons. And they just mark it as art.
Okay.
And they said it will say art by Hazel on the label. But yeah, the 2 comics she did was Rain, which is about like people literally like dying by like needles falling from the sky, and You Promised Me Darkness.
Yeah,
I invited technically one person to this, and he's here currently with me, 22.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing the picture of her holding the one of
Yeah, or
the
maybe it says like "Come into the Dark." It's the second issue or the second series, and I forget what it's called.
something like join me in the darkness or something. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, like you couldn't find.
I literally offered her like 5 covers to pick on, and she's like, "I like this one's writing the best." Like, you silly 4-year-old.
Oh, Flo ain't gonna let it go.
Oh, it's called "Follow Me into the Darkness," and if you guys want to see, this is the picture of that.
That was great. You barely see her little face over it. That was great. I loved it.
Well, I promise that the day that we invite guests, I'll just send an open invite to everyone on the internet, and then you'll have to wait in the backstage.
I'm petty ass Nick.
Yeah, Nick and him are still trying to fight. Did you meet Nick? I think Nick's in New York right now, or he was in New York at some point. I don't even know.
Chaos and Comics, what's going on?
Woohoo! Now that Chaos is here, he's one of the few people that I've drank with multiple times in Vegas. We even saw an amateur MMA fight together.
Nice.
We saw a dude get knocked out. Maybe.
They
I don't even know if that's true.
Several comic book stores over there in Vegas. We're getting ready to go. And so I was like looking up because I was like, hey, if I'm going to go somewhere there's comic book stores, I got to hit them up because
I think he was saying Torpedo is like the place you should go.
I don't want to go there.
It's not got good deals, I don't think, but it's going to have the coolest stuff.
I want to go somewhere where they're like, this guy's a jerk or something. He doesn't know what he has.
I don't know that they have that in Vegas.
Oh, that's
also Chaos. You can answer that question. Is there a guy that is a jerk there?
That has good stuff that doesn't know.
Good stuff that doesn't know that it's good stuff. Yeah, but Torpedo is loosely like Midtown Comics, where I think it's just destroyed.
Yeah, I would like to go see there, but I don't know that I want to waste the time that I have possibly to go there.
Yeah.
Watch Amateur Dragon. That's fun. I mean, that sounds like a good time to me. I'm just saying.
Well, it was really funny. He bought me. There was this book that came out called Parker Girl. It was from Terry Moore, who like did Strangers in Paradise, and I'd made it one of my most anticipated comics, and I said, I don't think my comic shop's going to get this. And he was like, hey, my shop got it. Do you want a copy of it? And I was like, sure. So he ends up bringing it to me. We did a bar crawl in Vegas. We took pictures at a ton of different bars with this comic and then tagged Terry Moore in all of them.
Oh, that's funny.
We went to like some bar called like Twisted Kilt or Tilted Kilt. It's loosely a Hooters in a Scottish version.
Yeah, we got that here. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd never heard of it before, but I'm like, wait, and we went to a margarita grill.
Yeah,
or not a margarita grill, Margaritaville.
Okay, yeah.
There was a pretty cool bar there that I forget what it was called, but it had a bunch of like Adirondack chairs, and like it had like AstroTurf grass kind of, or like fake grass, but it was supposed to be like you're sitting in your front yard, and they have only canned craft beers.
Oh.
So it's kind of like a decent thing for like the Vegas strip of like if you like craft beer. If you don't, then it's not a place for you.
I like liquor.
Yeah. Well, then probably not as cool unless you like fake grass and wooden chairs.
Nope. I don't even like real grass. Oh,
That's a bummer. Beer. Hey, welcome.
hey.
And
So
I
he
don't know.
says that there is jerks, but they know what they have. That's a shame.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
but I think we kind of covered most of the stuff that we weren't intentionally going to cover, and we just sort of covered today.
I was gonna say, and then some.
Yeah. So
So
you just hit 500 subs. Do you have a date yet? I know you're waiting on a comic to come back.
I am. I'm waiting on a comic to come back. Once that comic is back, I'm probably going to then do a follow-up and give it another week or two for people to put in videos for that book. It'll be that, the grand prize or whatever, I guess. So that's my time I got on it. Anyways, is waiting for that book to come back. They picked it up 2 days ago from the post office. So I'm anticipating getting it back in maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know that people are saying like a 21-day turnaround usually.
Yeah, it's going super quick right now. Now it'll probably be in their system. I'm hoping tomorrow, but maybe sometime mid next week. And then it'll probably be graded the week after that, and then it'll be back here at the house. So
And I've got a video up where I'm going to give away a slab for that event. So make sure you go there. Make sure you vote on which slab to go. And if you don't want it to be something that is killing the children, I highly recommend going there. There's a Gamora book, which is her first solo. And there's a Catwoman book that is an homage to, I really had to burp, but I can't, Lone Wolf and Cub. So
that was the longest, weirdest title ever.
yeah, you're welcome. But you got anything coming out this coming week or in the next few days?
Let's see. Today dropped a video. Shout out to Nick's Kicks and Comics, who's in the chat, and also Collecting with Durs, who was in chat earlier. I won a slab from Durs, and then Nick was so gracious to send me a book as well, a slab book. So you want to find out what those are? Go check out that video. Go show them two guys some love. They're awesome, awesome dudes. This upcoming week, I'll have another story time with Carl Childers. So I'm trying to figure out which story I want to do and do my best Carl Childers impersonation and put that out for all y'all to laugh at. I'm going to do the Bearded Comic Bro cover challenge. So I got to catch up on 2 of those now because y'all just released one today, you sons of bitches.
Hey, we try. We try and do one monthly.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I got coming on for the next couple weeks. So looks like Flo's got a 1K giveaway coming.
Yeah. Flo also is the master of the shorts. They went from the Bada Boom podcast. I think he was saying in like 3 months went from 30 to 1,000 subs.
That's insane. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. He has been my sensei in the shorts world, in case you guys want some insider baseball. But I will probably have my most anticipated comics video tomorrow. So if you want to see what I'm looking forward to reading on January 25th, 2023, make sure to go there. But I think that's all we got. I've been Cole.
22.
And yeah, thank you guys all for hanging out. And we're hoping to get another one in February. So if you guys have any topics or you want to ask us a question, any question, you want to make a video for that, send us the video. We'll post the video up. We'll answer your question. We'll go from there.
Shorts masterclass.
Yeah. Hit me up. Yeah. And if you want, Flo, if you want to make, a video about telling people about your shorts masterclass, you can, make that. We'll play that as an intermission so that we can both burp a few times and come back and not have to weirdly burp.
That's great.
But all right, everyone, have a great night and deuces.
Y'all have a good one.